All right, so Coach, we're finally at match week and preparing to face Miami. Just how's this week change as far as your preparations, as opposed to what you've been going through the past few weeks in fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of trying to get in game mode a little bit. A little bit different than seasons in the past, but we had a little bit of preseason competition before we started conference, and we really haven't had a chance to play a match or a different opponent. Um, so I think that last week we tried to scrimmage about 3 times, but within our squad, and just trying to get that rhythm back from playing in a match. And we got some refs in our gym, try to kind of mimic a little bit of the things that we were going to see, and just really doing the best we can to prepare ourselves.
Yeah, and you returned several All ACC performers. We'll start with Julia, who was a very strong freshman campaign. What have you just seen from her in this sophomore year, or just a comparison to last year as she prepares for this year?
Yeah, well, I just feel like she's so much more comfortable in the culture and the environment. She's speaking up a lot more. Definitely, her practice demeanor has changed. She's definitely, I think, growing into a leadership role, and just that go-to player, and who's just doing the right things on and off the court. And so it's been great to just see her growth and maturity, even from last year to this year. Like she's so much more comfortable just communicating on the court, understanding our system, understanding how we want to practice and how we want to get after things. And it's been great to see her just kind of blossom into that.
And how about Mariana as well? She comes in to now she's an upperclassman. Discuss her and just her evolution that you've seen from her through the summer and into the fall.
For sure. Mari, I think very similar to Julia. I think that, when English is not your first language, it takes a little bit for you to become really vocal on the court and really be able to express yourself and kind of step in and be leader and just kind of understand really how the culture is about and how to communicate with your teammates and coaches and everybody around. And I think Mari as well has really grown into that side of her game, and just her game in general. I mean, there's a lot of things that we worked even when they were home, in terms of little things that they could get better at, and you can definitely see that they kind of focused on the small things that we talked about. And with Mari, it was like her blocking, and her footwork with blocking. You can definitely see a couple areas of her game really growing and evolving. So it's really cool, and she's just a fun kid to have on the court. She just plays her heart out, so she's just easy to play with.
I was just thinking about, you mentioned the preseason or the non-conference schedule. I know Georgia State's been able to play in Mercer, some local teams. Did you
Yeah.
try to approach them to at least scrimmage them or to play in a match, or was the regulations of the ACC not allow you to do that just before
Yeah, no.
conference play?
We were mainly trying to save dates for the spring because we were hoping for a bigger season in the spring, and so we didn't want to play too many matches outside of conference and then lose a possibility of having some preseason play in the spring, um, when hopefully they do hold the NCAA championships. And so we wanted to kind of save our dates in hopes of a more meaningful season in the spring. So that's kind of in the works, and we're hoping that kind of falls through.
Yeah, have you any word on that as far as what the spring season can look like? I know because you're only playing a handful of ACC contests. Do you
Yeah.
know what the schedule is for? Do you know how many matches, or maybe the teams you're not playing in the fall will probably be in your spring schedule? Any word on that yet?
Yeah, we don't have too many details. I know that was kind of it got presented to the initial stages of the NCAA with their decision making, um, and I think it goes on to the next layer now to be voted on pretty soon. But the proposal was a January through April season, and then the championships at that time. Um, and the way that it's working out now, we're playing 8 ACC matches, and so we would have 20 dates to compete in the spring. And at least a round robin in our conference is what we're kind of foreseeing, but there's really just very, very initial stages of that conversation and what's going on there.
I saw on your social media you put that a player committed to the team, and you can't
Mhm.
comment on it. But I also saw that the NCAA had your dead period has been extended, I think, through the rest of the calendar year, if I read that
Correct.
accurately. Yeah, how does that affect your recruiting? Because would you be doing home visits right now, or does this count? Like what we're doing right now, would that count as a home visit, or how have you handled just the adjustments to the recruiting for the
No, I mean, we
year?
mainly have been, virtually in touch with them. Some of our recruits have come to campus, but we haven't been able to have contact like they came on their own to just kind of see school. But there was zero contact with anybody from our program, so they really kind of do that stuff on them to figure out when they want to come, and if they do. Um, Not everybody's doing that, but I think more and more recruits are doing that nationwide, so that it's their only chance to see campus since you can't really bring them on official visits yet. So we're hoping that we can at least give them their official visit, even though they're already committed. At least bring them here, let them meet the team and meet the staff, and hopefully in the spring we'll be able to do that. But we'll see. And until then, we're just doing the best we can. We're staying in contact, continuing to watch a lot of video, and really we repped up our 21 class, and we're really kind of finalizing our 22 class, and then going and starting to really narrow down our list and build our kind of our depth chart on the 23 and 24 class. So it kept moving. I think the same way. It's a little harder to make decisions when you can't see them as often. But we're hoping that soon enough we will be able to, and we'll just hit the ground running and keep moving forward.
And now you go to Miami for a few matches. What do you see from them, or how do you scout them at this stage of the year? I mean, you've played them before, but they've had roster turnovers just like you've had. How do you prepare for this type of matchup, and what have you seen from them?
I think they're always a great team, great staff. Their coaches has done a really great job with them, so we understand we're going to play a very good volleyball team. Um, I think our focus has been on our side a little bit, and definitely being the best that we can on our side of the net to make sure we put ourselves in the best position possible. Obviously, we're talking about some of the returners and some players that have been in their starting lineup for a while, and that we kind of foresee, um, being there, and also their system and how they like to play. Um, but we also know that all these things are just, we're just guessing right now. We don't really know what they'll be doing, but I think one of the things we know for sure is they're going to be ready to play us. I think that everybody's going to be super excited to just compete, and Keno has done a great job there in Miami, and he has really, has had great foundation with his programs. And so I expect nothing but a really good Miami team when we get over there.
Yeah, and last thing, we've talked before about you using the non-conference portion or the preseason. You play pretty much everybody that's available, use different rotations, different systems. Is
Yes.
that eliminated a lot more now that you go straight into conference play, and this impacts your season? All matches matter, but as far as your conference standings and everything like that, have you worked on? Have you had to limit yourself as far as players that you use and things that you want to execute?
I mean, we're hoping that our practice team is just as hard as any match that we compete in. We really our group is doing a great job of challenging each other and really getting better on a daily basis. And I feel like we have raised the bar every year. Um, so it's all about controlling our controllables. It would have been great to try to do all these things, and we can, but I mean, everybody's in the same situation this year. All the teams are very similar, dealing with very, very similar things that we are. And so it's about focusing on our side and, really just kind of, going from there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes, not only everything that we have going on. We also played back to back, and we played the same opponent back to back. And that's hard, you know. It's you can have a good night, and then, you know, to beat a team twice back to back is also really, really difficult. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of learning, I think, this week, and how we want to prepare, you know, our meals, our video, what is our road trips are going to look like all these things are going to be at a different pace and situation than they were before. I mean, every time we went to Miami, we went to the beach and we were able to, you know, enjoy ourselves, and we won't have a chance to do these things now. And so we're trying to figure out what it is that we can do, to just get ready and do the things that we want to do over there, and still use this time to grow as a team, you know, as a family. And so we're really about just building everlasting moments and opportunities. And so we're just going to focus on what we can do, and see what happens.